Hi everyone, I am really excited because I have received this lovely book today. Obviously Johanna Basford's new book Rooms of Wonder. I know lots of people have done flip throughs already, but I just wanted to do one as well. My book came a day late, so I'm going to be a little bit late with this flip through, but never mind, I'm going to go for it. Now I was going to do a flip through showing all the keys and doors because Johanna said in her flip through that there was some on every page bar one, but I decided that I would leave that because I think it's a bit of a spoiler and it might be something that you guys want to do yourself. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to flip through and maybe talk about some ideas for colouring for the pages and point out things that jump out at me. And also at the end I'm going to colour something in, so if you've seen a flip through before, you don't want to see the flip through, do wait till the end because there'll be some colouring. So I don't know what page though yet, I'll decide as I go. So let's have a look through. So let's just have a look at the book. It's the same size as Johanna's standard colouring books, so square in size and quite large, and it's got beautiful gold on the cover, and we've got all sorts of bits and pieces on here, and then on the back we don't have the gold but we have a similar design, so you can colour that in. The cover's matte. I never coloured Johanna's covers in. I rarely even colour this page. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So anyway, let's go on. I'm just checking my lights on. It is, so that's good. So we have key design on here, lots of really pretty ornate keys, which is interesting. You could colour them all different colours, or you could do golds and silvers. There's going to be quite a lot of metallics, I think, in this book because of the keys and the locks. So we've got a key and a lock here. I know I'm showing you this one. I said I wasn't going to do it on every page, but this one's very obvious. But of course you don't have to, you could use metallic pens or pencils or practice your metallic techniques. It's totally up to you. So that's a lot of fun anyway. So let's go through now. I'm being really careful that I'm turning every page. In my Worlds of Wonder flip through, I missed a page out because I turned over 2 pages at once. Oops, nobody ever told me. But I wonder how many of you noticed. So here we go on the page with all the little bits and pieces, copyright page I guess. We've got 2 really pretty keys. They're actually the same key, just turn around, and a lovely flower. So it's a really simple design, a really fun one, I think, really nice. And we have the This Book Belongs To page. Again, we just have a sort of pretty swirl really, a sort of a flourish with a few leaves and stars. I think that's really pretty. Now on this page we have the introduction and the guide to exploring. I don't know whether I'm going to read them out. I think that might be a little cumbersome, but I'll tell you about this pattern because it's really small. I could hold it a little bit closer so you can have a little look at it. You can see that it's a leaf and floral pattern. It's very, as I say, it's really small and detailed, but it's actually this part, each corner is just repeated all the way around on each one. So you could choose to do every single leaf the same colour throughout, every single bell type flower or whatever, which is probably what I would do, and I would treat it as a double page, and I think that would just make it less daunting for me. And because they're so small, I probably wouldn't do much shading, just do some block colouring. It'd be quite relaxing, wouldn't it? I always find these side really hard to colour, especially in a new book. But what I do is I get another of Johanna's books and pop it under here so I can lean on it, and that helps me to colour it more easily. We've got lots of keys here as well, which is rather fun, all sorts of different designs, which I think is really good. And here we get started on the actual pages. So obviously we have a double page spread, and I think this is the Lost Property Office. If you watch Johanna's video, she tells you what the rooms are called, but I'm just trying to remember. But I just find this one really interesting. It's quite daunting. There's lots and lots of different things. There's going to be lots of colours being used. So you could approach it by using a limited palette, but I think with this many things I probably wouldn't. I would probably just go for it. Lots of colour, lots of different colours, and I mean, got a background here is the wall. I'll probably keep that really simple, quite pale, maybe just a light beige, a pale pink, a pale blue, something like that, so that it doesn't really stand out, but it just looks like you've made the effort to colour. And if you do it lightly, it doesn't take long. And also if you do it one colour, it's quite plain, that makes it easier as well. And we've got, and you could leave these shelving units, you could leave them white. IKEA do a lot of white shelves, so you know, maybe they're IKEA shelves, or you could do them sort of wood. I'd probably do them wood because I like colouring wood, but you know, it's up to you how you do those. And we've got all sorts of bits and pieces on that one. So yes, that's quite a daunting page. What I would do was I would pick one item I really liked, teddy bear, start there, then look for another one, and I probably wouldn't tackle it as a double. I would do it one at a time because it's a lot going on. So do one page and then the other page, and just note down a few key colours. So the background, the shelving, I would note that down so that when I came to do this page, I would remember what I'd done. You know, the brand of pencil, the specific colour, that sort of thing. But I wouldn't have to colour them at the same time if I felt like I didn't want to. Now I love this page. This page is going to make a fantastic tutorial series. There are 50, my maths is 5 by 5, 5 by 5, 50 different items to colour, and I think that's great fun, and I will do this as a series, I'm absolutely sure. When? I do not know, but you know, some of them are really small and simple. They're going to be great for my sort of afternoon videos when I just do a little thing in the afternoon. You know, a tea time treat, I guess it is. So I think that'll be really good fun. Some of them are going to be more complex than others. I'm just looking back and forth. So we've got a boot, which I'll probably do all the same colour, and maybe different colour sole and lace and label. Whereas if you look at something like this hat, we've got lots of florals. We could do lots of different colours on that one. Or what did I see? The cassette, that's quite tricky. I wonder how many of you are too young to know what those are. So that's quite fun. So we've got all sorts of lovely items here. So again, all our sort of lost property items. And then we have 4 here, which again, I may do as tutorials. There's quite a lot of scope for tutorials in the book, so I'm not sure. You could always put a comment and tell me what you'd like me to do, because that helps me. Although I'm full of ideas, I've always got more ideas than time. You know, it just helps me a little bit to know what you want. So we have the hat making and the knitting and embroidery. We have the sort of gardening and bag making. So we've got those 4. If I was going to do one, I'd do 4. I wouldn't just do one. They may not be consecutive videos though. A bit like my flourish birds, they're all done at different times. And my houses in bottles from Worlds of Wonder, they weren't done one after the other. This is the origami room, which Johanna has coloured in her sort of promotional video for the book. So that's rather fun. I thought when I saw it, it looked really tricky and detailed, but now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking it's not so bad as I thought. You've got this outdoor bit, which is quite simple. You know, just sky. Say just sky. I know sky isn't easy, but it can be all one colour. You know, it doesn't have to be complex. We haven't got, there's a few little origami things, but what I would do is probably think, what colour paper might I have? I might have yellow, pink, blue, orange, green. Grab those and do those colours for all of them. So there might be, all these might be pink. This might be green, this might be green, this might be green. Do you see what I mean? So I'm not having a big wide colour palette, and it makes it much quicker and easier if you sort of think I'm just going to limit. And again, with the papers in here and the rolls of paper here, you keep within that palette, and I think it'd be a lot easier. And also maybe just using a set of pencils when you've got 12, 24 rather than 150 might make it a little bit less daunting. Okay, we've got a lovely round design here. Again, this was one I thought I could do because there aren't a lot of elements, to be honest. You've got a heart button, you've got a pair of scissors, a pin, a roll of cotton, an embroidery thread, another button and some more buttons here, a ball of wool and another roll of cotton, and that's it, and then it repeats. Now for me, I would want them to be the same, so every one of these the same colour. Do you see? So I could just show you how I was going to colour each item, and then that would get you going on the on that one. I think it's rather fun, but we'll see. I'm still thinking over what to do tutorials for you for. Now this one to me is a lot more complex than the origami room. Got lots of jars and different buttons and things like that, and there could be scope to be a mad mishmash of colour. So I think I will have to think carefully about this one. This one reminds me very much of the Wonder Room, lots of shelves, little bits and bobs everywhere. Obviously desk and chair, all that going on, shelving. But I think, there's so many pretty items, it makes it less daunting in a way. But, I will think about how to approach it. Now on this page we just have our key and our lock. I've only just remembered about lock and keys. My book's got a bent corner. Oh wow, this is what it is. And the cover is a bit bent. Never mind. So yeah, I haven't remembered about looking for locks and keys in the other rooms. But these are really beautifully pretty florals, but they are quite small. But I think it could be a nice relaxing page again where you just don't do shading, just block colour round and round. You could use a pen or a pencil, and I think it could be really lovely. And I think some really delicate colours would work really well on that. Now, I'm not a pinky person, as you know, but I would think pink, purple, blue, all light colours would just look really nice. I may completely change my mind. Now here we have a repeating pattern, wallpaper-esque. This bloom repeats here and here, and then there's this one which is like a almost more open version, and they're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Remind me a bit of this picture actually, which I just happen to have there, from World of Flowers, which is the planner page I'm about to think about doing. Oh, that's interesting. Look at the colour of the planner compared to the colour of the book. I'm sure this book isn't white though. There's a white Rita Berman postcard. It is cream, but it's not as yellowy as the planner. How very interesting. Anyway, just in case you wanted to know. So again, I would probably do every flower, even though there are different types, in the same colour. So maybe purple, but do them different shades of that colour. And that would just keep it easier for me. I think this needs a background. It's looking to me like it needs one, but that's a lot of background, so I don't know. We'll see. I won't be doing that one today. So here we have more floral type rooms. This one has a lot of flowers here. I'm just having a look to see if some of them are similar, but actually it looks like Johanna's just gone quite random. Although we've got some curly ones, I love those. And some big petals. So you could pick some out that are similar and do them the same colour as each other. I think that's what I probably do. So all the ones that have long petals, like this one and this one and this one, although they're not the same, I'd probably do those the same colour. And then these squiggly ones, probably do all those the same. That sort of thing. Ones with rounded petals the same, just to bring it together a little bit. We've got a typewriter here. I wonder how many of you have used a typewriter. I have. My dad used to have two. I don't know why he had two. And I remember him sometimes getting them down from the attic. Although we had a computer from when I was quite young, I used to have great fun banging away, getting all the keys stuck together, things like that. Making a mistake and not quite knowing how to erase it. Oof, yes. Anyway, the days before delete button. This is a very fun picture. So we have a sort of outline of a house, but inside it's like a forest. Now I'm thinking what this background is here. Is it a cloud? Is it a bush? Is it, a rock? I don't know. So there's our imagination coming in right there. What is that? I don't think it matters how you colour it as long as you make it obvious what it is. If it's cloud, do it pink. If it's a rock, do it grey, and if you think it's a bush, do it green, and then it'll just work for any of those. But we have lovely trees. What I'd probably do is do these trees first, the sky. We've got stars in the sky, so it's dark, but I probably wouldn't do it black. It's a bit harsh. I would probably do it maybe a dark purple or a dark blue. It's prettier than black, I think. But I might add in some black just to make it darker, because you're going to have to layer it up a bit if you want it dark. And then maybe do these and then see what that calls out to me with regards to colour once I've coloured in, because there's going to be a lot of green going on. You know, so if this is a green bush, would I have one that will look right? Don't know. So that's how I would approach it. That's good fun. Oh, and now we have our... I was looking here, saying, oh, mushrooms, toadstools. There's a toadstool room, isn't there? Here it is. So it's a bit like, is it Worlds Within Worlds, where you get a clue to the next page in the picture before? I think I've just about found all of those. So we have our mushrooms and toadstools. Now this page is really fun. They're quite large, most of them. Some of them are little, to be honest. But we've got different types, and we've got these lovely bottles with light in hanging down, so I think that's really fun. That's beautiful. I can see that coloured by some amazing artists, looking amazing. I'll try my best. But this one is rather more daunting perhaps, because it reminds me of the Lost Ocean Googly Eye page, as we called it, with the little circles, or the World's Flowers page with all the tiny flowers. But these aren't quite that tiny. They are still small, but there is a repeating pattern through. So I would use that. I would do every mushroom that looked like that, and then every one that looked like that. And you can work out the pattern because it flows properly. You'll be able to see them and you won't miss any out. But what I might do is when I do this one, I might write down the colour combo just in case I miss one, because then when you've got to go back and try and remember what you did, that's quite tricky. So that little tip for you. Now we have some shelves. I think again these are lost property items, sort of hanging on our shelves here, which is quite fun. Or maybe it's just a shelf in someone's house. We have a jar of magic, which I rather like. That's good fun. And we have another jar with a house in and some jewels in front. So there's a lot going on, bottles and things, more bottles. I might be tempted to do the bottles all in a similar way, just to get some coherence there, but I'm not sure yet. And now we have our sort of underwater room. So we've got quite a lot of different fish and things, but what I like about this room is it's in sections. So if you're not very, you haven't got much time, this one, you know. If you've got a bit more time, this one, you know, so you can sort of break it down. You don't have to do the whole thing in one go. Also, the background may not be necessary. I don't think I would do one here. I think by the time you've done all the, I would do the silver for all these bits, and then the insides. I've got to decide on watercolour. You know, the colour of the water. Do you do it blue? Probably. So by the time you've done all that, I don't think you would need to worry about the background too much. Now here is a repeating design. We just basically have sort of floral flourishes, like and flowers. So you could just do each one the same. I mean, I could always do one for you and then you do the rest. What I might be very tempted to do is to keep most of it the same, because most of it is leafy or sort of I can't think of the words anyway. But there's two flowers. And I might change the colour of those flowers only within, maybe have them all the same across this horizontal row, and then maybe a different colour here, just to break it up just a tiny bit. Oh, I've just spotted the door. Ooh, how exciting. I haven't found the key though. Now I want to find it, but I won't, because it's going to be very boring for you. I also don't know if there's a key and a door in each picture, or whether it's across each double page, so that's something I'm going to have to look out for as well. I love this windmill, it's just the cutest. And we have these lovely balloons inside, and such a cute staircase. Oh, excuse me, it's going to be great fun, that one. I just spotted the key on that. It's very clever. Well done, Johanna. That's really well hidden. This one is rather nice. We have our sort of beehive room, and we have this sort of honeycomb which we could colour shade or just colour as, and we have lovely flowers. There's loads of florals in this book, so if you're liking your florals, there's a nice page for you. I know some people prefer florals and other people don't. So here, this room here looks quite officey to me. I remember Johanna pointing out that there's a melting ice cream on someone's desk there. I can't really deal with that. On top of a book. No. You stay away from my books with your melty ice cream. I don't know what she's trying to do to us. What are you trying to do to us, Johanna? Give us a heart attack. Anyway, so that's a fun room. And here we have all sorts of office bits and pieces, and they do repeat. So we have a lamp here and a lamp here, and then that book there and that book there. So, excuse me, what I would do was colour them the same, each item the same way, but just to make it easier for me. You don't have to do that at all. And also, like, this lamp faces two different directions here and here. Would you still colour them the same? It's up to you. I found the key in the door on that page. And we have fruit. And it's the smoothie room, isn't it? Because we have two blenders here making our smoothies, which is rather fun. And all sorts of different fruit. I do enjoy colouring fruit. I really like the fruit and veg page in Worlds of Wonders. That's going to be fun. But actually this one, I think this one will be more fun for me somehow. I don't know why. But we've got all the different fruit there. So that's rather nice. And again, you know, once you've done the sort of this section, you can just repeat it round. I've got raspberry or blueberry. I'm never sure. Never sure. And this room, of course, this is the free download that Johanna's already produced. So those of you in the USA who haven't got the book yet, you will have access to this. And 2 people have already asked me to do a tutorial. There are lots already on YouTube, but I'll see what I can do. It's not going to be my first one, because today, after I've done this flip through, I'm going to find something quite simple to do. But I have thought about your request. I'm going to have a go, but I may not. I don't know when the competition ends. I know it's a competition page, and I can't promise I'm going to get it done by the time the competition ends, just because my time's short with workmen in, things like that. So we'll see how that goes. I really love this page actually more than that one. This is a lovely page. I love the magic of it, and I think the fact that Johanna's released it in its October Halloweeny time, I think makes perfect sense. But I just love all these bottles with different space things inside, and my thought was to do like a galaxy sky behind them, but then we've got to make them stand out somehow. So, you know, that'll be a challenge for me. But I shall find it fun. Now we have, now what's going on here? It's ice cream. These are all ice creams, because I was thinking this is a dribbly bit. This reminds me a bit of all the ice creams we've got in Worlds of Wonder. We've got lots of sprinkles. We do have some fruit and different things like that. And I've just seen the key and the door on that page. That's fun. And this page is, again, it's almost like you could do this as a double page, because I'm thinking we've got the stripes behind here and we've got a stripe on a canopy here. We could tie it together by doing those the same, or doing the background of this, the wall, as one of those 2 colours, or you could always draw in stripes and make it identical if you'd rather, because I think that it's the same place, the same shop. Although why we've got the lanterns and the cuckoo clock in like a sweet shop? I think they're cakes actually, aren't they? Not really sure why, but I don't think it matters. And we've got bonsai tree and plants up there. And of course the random bunny rabbit, you know. My sweet shop doesn't have those. I shall have to ask them to get one. Now we have another house design filled with flowers, which is really cute. Again, Johanna's beautiful florals. I think that's just going to be fun. It's so adorable. I love colouring bricks. I love colouring flowers. What's not to like? Now this page is one that Johanna released for the Happy Place Festival, so a few people who went there have had a download of this one. And again, I think it's just your lost property office, just a random mix of items that you may or may not find in your house. Now this one intrigues me. I'd been studying this picture because people had coloured it, and I was like, oh, you know, you want to see what it's like. Is this a salt or pepper grinder mill? Salt or pepper mill with a crown on top? Or is it a chess piece? I think it's probably a chess piece. Anyway, jury's out. Who knows? Now we have I can find the key and the lock on this page, can you? This is rather fun because on this page we have all these circles, which I will do as gems, and an ornate key. And do we keep it quite plain with golds, silvers, or do we make it more colourful? We could these bits here, I don't know how well you can see these bits here, do we make them as beads? I don't know. It's rather nice, isn't it? And then do we make it as a double so they match? But this one's got a frame and this one hasn't, so maybe they're not meant to match. I don't know. Brains are whirring. Now this is another lovely page which sort of goes tutorial, doesn't it? So these are all the makeup things, like from a dressing table, and we have the dressing table over here. So I think that's rather sweet. I don't have a dressing table, I don't wear makeup, I don't really worry, I don't wear jewellery apart from my rings very often anyway. So it's all a bit different to me, but it doesn't mean that I haven't got lots of ideas of how to make these things look really pretty, because they are lovely. So that will be fun. These bottles are going to be interesting. Now this page I love because we've got this frame, and I like a frame detail on a page. I just think it's really pretty and lovely, and you can see the flowers are growing through the frame, and we've got this pattern on the carpet. It's quite intricate, but I think there's a lot there for us to work with. It's not too scary. The only small details are really these pattern on the carpet, and you can just colour over it if it's too tricky. Maybe these hearts and things a bit small, but they're not, there's not many, so I think that's fun. I think it's interesting this here. I'm assuming this is supposed to be a cotton wool balls in a jar, but they look like gumballs to me. Do you think they're gumballs? I just saw where the door was on that page. It's very cute. So now inside the wardrobe, and again, you know, tutorial each section or each clothing item. I'm not used to colouring clothes. I haven't coloured them much before, so that'll all be new for me. I know Rita Berman has quite a few clothes in her book, and I haven't done those pages either, so we'll see. I'm trying to remember which page it was that Johanna said there wasn't a key hidden on, because I couldn't find a key or a door on that page, but I'm not really looking. Sometimes they just jump out at me. The doors just jumped out of me on this page. Now this is so interesting and different. It might be tricky for you to see. Let me hold it a little closer. You can see that Johanna has drawn a floral shape which she repeats through the page, but she's also done an outline on it. Now sometimes I find when she outlines things it's a little tricky, but with this design I think it works brilliantly, and it actually looks quite easy to do, you know, to work with that outline. Sometimes I'm never sure what colour to do it or anything, but this outline to me gives me permission not to do the background. I can just outline everything and then not worry. So that's interesting. So we have a cuckoo clock with teapots, teacups, and a selection of sugar, teas, and I guess coffees, but maybe more teas because they are all teapots. I can't really spot a coffee pot. The door's quite easy to spot in this picture, and I've also found the key already, so that's fun. We have all sorts of puddings or desserts, depending on what you call them. So a wibbly jelly. I had such fun with the jelly in Worlds of Wonder. But these are a little bit smaller, I think, than the cake page on that page. But we have, I mean, this could be like a pie, or it could be a cake, which is quite fun. And what are these? Are they nuts, candies? I don't know. And are these oranges? Or are they all different coloured cakes? Are they donuts? I love the fact that you can't I mean, I think those are pears. But I love the fact that you can't immediately guess with some of them. So it means that you can use your imagination a little bit. I do like having some guidance sometimes. Macarons, you can do them all the same colour, or you could do them all multicoloured. So that's fun. And I know that some people did their cakes before they drew in shelving, or they made it into a shop. It's so imaginative. I won't be doing that. I'll just colour them in. But again, it looks like a good tutorial page. So maybe. I like this page a lot. I found it very difficult to work out what was going on in any of the flip throughs that I saw of this page. But basically, if I talk you through it, might make it easier. There's 2 tree trunks here and the tops of the trees here. In between here, there is a bed, and there's also a window looking out into houses. And then there's your door into the room, and you've got a table there, and you've got vines going up and around. I love that idea. I like the fact that you've got some steps going up and around the tree, and they lead to the bed. It's very cute. I couldn't cope with sleeping on that bed myself. Let's not even think about rolling over in bed. I mean, I don't fall out of bed normally, but if I do, I'm not that far from the floor. I have fallen out a few times, usually when my children get in and give me a shove. They think it's hilarious, but I don't hurt myself. So here we have an outdoor shower, and I think this is such a lovely tropical picture for lovers of magical jungle. You've got your parrot, you've got a little frog, you've got your big jungly leaves. I think it's brilliant, and the bird of paradise flower, all sorts going on. So I think that's really good fun. I love that. And of course, what you do in the background. This shower head is attached to this wall. So what is this behind? Is it just a rock, a brick, a sort of rock wall, or is there something else going on? I've just spotted the key. Where's the door? There's a door there, but I think is there a key there as well? I don't know. I still haven't figured out if there's only one door and one key per double page, or if there's one on each page. Anyway, I think it's per double. So I have a fabulous Welsh dresser here with a rainbow in the background, and we are making weather. I think this is such an imaginative idea, and it's such fun. So it isn't quite as complex as it might look, because I think every jar could be very much the same, and therefore once you've got your idea of how to do one, you're doing them all really. So that's fun. But there's a lot of imagination you can put into this if you're that way inclined. I'm not. I do love this room. So we've got our mermaid's underwater room. I think we saw a sneak peek of this quite a while ago actually from Johanna. But we've got all our underwater plants and things. That's rather fun. And this sort of edging, which is interesting. I don't know what to do with that, but that's fun. So good. Oh, we're back into the world of pudding, which Johanna likes her puddings, doesn't she? I think now she started drawing them, she can't stop. But they are great fun to colour. I don't eat pudding, but I like colouring it. It makes me a bit hungry, but but that's okay. So we've sort of got baking ingredients, I think, down here. That's how I would colour them anyway. And then all our puddings up here. I've just spotted the key. Haven't spotted the door though, so that's interesting. And then here we have a really pretty page with what I would say was like a celebration cake, a wedding cake or something, a showstopper as they would say in Bake Off. I've just found the door. So they are really fabulous. Oh, and we're on to the steampunk pages. Now, I know a lot of people really like steampunk. They get a little bit daunted by all the metallic effects. So I'm not sure if I've done a steampunk tutorial. I've coloured a few steampunk pictures and I actually find them good fun. So I can show you a few effects on some steampunk pages. I know there's some over the page which I'll probably do these. Now these are quite small and detailed, But I think with a lot of really detailed pictures, I would just colour right over the detail. But I think because we've got cogs and things like that, we probably need to show them. I have shown you a steampunk page from Elegant Elephants with cogs, just remembered. But I can think of a few cheats for this, which might help. We'll see. So anyway, I may do these for you. I think that would be quite fun. So we have, this is more of a steampunk laboratory because we have our conical flasks, which is interesting. It's an interesting sort of lab with sort of gauges and different things going on, so that's rather interesting, very different, a bit more like the sort of robotic style. Now I think again we have lost property. I think we have quite a collection of things here with a teapot and some spoons and a pram and a phone and small spoons and a chain. That's a watch, pocket watch, and a gramophone and a brooch, a jug, quite a couple of keys, and some fans and a necklace and a ring, a candelabra and some oil lamps. They're all quite old things. I think it's, I'm actually trying to remember, I think Johanna said it was like a museum or something. But on this side, these are more kitchen type things. So we have our coffee pot and jars of different things and cake and different fish slices and scales and things, rolling pin, different food. There is a sunflower here, which, and a rose in a vase. There's a few things that aren't necessarily very kitcheny, but I think it's definitely mainly kitchen things. I think it's a good fun, but there's no repeats, so every item is different. So again, that could be a little daunting. What I would do was I would either find an item I really liked, start there and move on to my next favourite and just do that way, or look for all the metallics, do all of those first and then move on from there, or just start from the top and work down. I think it's good to have a method. You don't have to stick with it. If you change your mind, that's fine, just change your mind. It's, you know, there's no rules, but I think starting with an idea as to how you're going to tackle the page helps you. And here we have the kitchen page. I think Johanna was saying about how all these things are on the floor, which, you know, it's a bit messy, isn't it? But there's a lot going on. But again, for this page, what I will probably do the border first, and that would set my colour. Then all the florals in the page, there are some florals in here, would be done in the same colour scheme as this. I would stick to quite a limited palette. And then all the bottles and jars I'll probably do the same colour, and then all the kitchen furniture the same, like my kitchen, although my new kitchen, the wall cupboards are not the same colour as the base cupboards. You will get a picture. I've actually got a working oven and hob for this weekend. It's very exciting. I don't know if I can remember how to cook. But anyway, I'm not, everything needs cleaning really badly. I just wanted to come and look at my book. I didn't care about my kitchen. It sounds really naughty, but I've got to clean it, so, you know, that's a bit of a drawback. And I don't know where my mop and bucket has gone, because the workmen have been rearranging my garage, so I just come and look at the book. These are delightful. When I first saw this page, I immediately thought, this is one I'm going to do as a tutorial. Each item is on a little shelf, and there's a collection of little cute items. I think it's lovely. So that's another consideration for tutorial, but also this one. Now this has got such a Halloweeny feel. We've obviously got the cauldron, but also feathers and spell books and things. So it's just, you know, really lovely. And I think this might be a download. I can't remember. There are 3 on Johanna Basford's website. Only one has been released so far, but of course she's doing her launch week next week, so I'm assuming she'll release those as she goes through. But these are just gorgeous, and these are ones I want to do, definitely want to do some a series with. It's got a lovely feather, a sort of quill actually. Look at that witch's hat, and some special tea, and a spell book, candles, and a spooky plant, some critters in jars. It's a small jar for that little fish. Some lovely mushrooms, toadstools, and a key. It's got a ticket on. Some sort of parchment, a crystal ball, and here we have some potions, more feathers, a sort of magical moth or butterfly, and a cauldron. So much fun. And yeah, those I'm definitely looking forward to doing. Right, where are we now? We have parcels. Oh, this is the Harry Potter owl room, isn't it? I'm just seeing whether there are any repeats, but no, all of these are different. So again, just take one at a time. Think about if you want to do a lot of them browny beige, the colour of like brown paper, bags, wrapping, that sort of thing, parcels, envelopes, or whether you want to just go mad with colour. You know, it's up to you. Good fun. And this one looks really daunting. When I saw it, I thought, oh my goodness. But actually, if you look carefully, you can see a lot of the lines down here are bricks. So you colour the bricks, you've done a lot of the detail. Now with this particular page, there's a lot of little items down here. What I would do the bricks first, then the wood and this cabinet. I would do this cabinet in wood as well, but that's because I like wood. And do the steps. Then you can pick out the items a lot more easily because these all sort of merge into the shelf. Once the shelf's coloured, the items stand out more and it helps you to be able to colour them. That's what I find anyway. That's how I would approach it. Who would like their post delivered by an owl? You'd have to be at home, wouldn't you? So it would just drop it outside the front door. Now I love this. Do you imagine having a romantic meal in a little tropical house? I just thought it looked romantic. I don't know. But getting a bit old to be romantic, I don't know. I thought it looked lovely. I don't know about this well-balanced meal of pudding. But anyway, it's good fun. And now we have our gem room. Right, so I had to cut the video. My husband came to the door. I'd left the key in the door. He couldn't get in and it was pouring with rain. Oopsie. Anyway, I was talking about the gem room. I can't remember what I was saying. But I think I was saying that I learnt how to do gems from Helen Ellison's books. And so I shall enjoy having a go with those. They're quite small, which will be interesting. I like this bucket. What would you put in a bucket? They look round. I shall ask my son, who's doing geology, what would be that, what they would be. They might be geodes, I suppose. He'll know. So what do we have here? We have books and plant. It's just boxes and jars, all sorts of different things. It doesn't look like a lost property room though. It just looks like a sort of pretty room. And we have this. I think these might be fairy lights hanging off the shelf as well, which is rather fun. And over here though we have little rooms in bottles, in jars I guess, not bottles. I think they're really fun. I love this one. I saw this one coloured this morning. Someone had done it on and put it on Instagram. It's really pretty. So those are fun. Again, those might be candidates for tutorials. This one is quite simple and I rather like that. It means that you can just do it quite quickly. So we have our pineapple, which can be tricky to colour, but I've done a few, weirdly. I've coloured quite a few pineapples. And inside we have a house. Is it SpongeBob SquarePants' house? I did wonder when I first saw it. And especially as there's like a shell-shaped chair. But I don't know. But anyway, it's rather fun. And this was the sort of celebration room, wasn't it? So we have it, it's in the shape of a cake, but lots of decorations and things. It's really fun. There are a few small details in there, but I think it's a really fun room to do. And the musical instruments, now these are interesting. I'll have to decide whether I'm going to do them proper colour, you know, what they should be, or whether I just do them a little bit different. I think I'll probably do them proper, just because there's a lot of metallic and I rather like doing metallics. And some of them though I can't identify. I mean, is that a, I assume that's a cor anglais, but what's that? And they've got a whistle and a recorder, but there's this sort of bell things. I don't know what they're called. A sort of luty harp type thing, but what's that? I don't know. So I may have to look up the things I don't know what they are first, make sure I know how to colour them before I then decide to do them all the right colours. Across this side, we've got quite an interesting mix of instruments. It's a, I think it's like a one-man band, isn't it? Which is good fun. Lots of horns and things. Good. Now this is our old-fashioned phone, telephone. I love annoying my children by calling my mobile phone or my cell phone, I call it a telephone. Mother, it's not a telephone. Like, phone is short for telephone. Had to wind up your teenagers. We've got windows here and here, which is interesting, and it's like a big cutout. We can see all the floors inside. It is teeny tiny. These leaves are so small. Look how tiny they are, but I think it'll be fun. It's just, you've just got to decide how your mood takes you. If you're in the mood for doing teeny tiny, then do this. If you're not, then maybe do this one. We've got some big geranium. There's quite a lot going on, quite a large areas here to colour, so that's okay. We've only got a few small details in here. Most of it's fairly big, so that's good. And oh, at the end, so you have the end here. Now what I like about this colour palette test page is we've got a few pictures. Now, are they in the book? I don't know, because we've got a top hat here with a label on and some cards tucked in it, and we've got a book here with bookmarks and labels in. I can't remember seeing either of those, but there is a lot going on in the book, so they may very well be in there. And these I definitely saw those, and the unicorn's got a label on, so I'm assuming it's one of the lost items, but I don't know. But that's really interesting, isn't it? What I think I'm going to colour is this page, but I'm just going to stop the video and get some paper behind it and get my pencils out and then come back and colour it, so that'll be fun. Okay, I have popped a piece of paper behind the page to make sure there's no transfer of print ink across. There isn't normally, but you never know. And I have my Polychromos pencils to have a go at this with. I'm just having a little look at what is in the picture so I can think about how to colour it. Now we have all these tendrils, and we definitely have some leaves, especially here. So I think I'm going to start by doing some of the leaves, and then I'm going to have a little think about the rest. Just going to find my pencil sharpener because they're quite small. Okay, what colour's that? That isn't the one I wanted. Right, we'll start with this one. So I'm going to use the earth green yellowish because it's my favourite green, or one of my favourite greens, to do the leaves. And I'm going to start with these ones that are on the outside, and I'm just going to colour them in my usual way. It's a little bit darker at the bottom and then lighter towards the tip. Now I'm going to try and leave the tip to complete with another colour, but on these small ones, excuse me, it's quite difficult to leave much space, so I'm not going to worry. And the overturned bits I think I'll do in the other colour. It's only another shade of green. I'm just going to use the May green. They're quite similar colours, so you may not even really notice there's two different greens. This is the thing with some big sets of pencils, some of the colours are quite similar. That's why when you're buying open stock, it's always useful to sort of make sure you're aware of how similar or different the colours are and what they look like. It isn't easy if you haven't got the full set. I did do a video actually about my Polychromos to sort of talk people through which ones I would buy, which ones were very close. And, you know, because some colours I almost use interchangeably because they're so close in colour. So maybe, but if it's my favourite colour, having two that are close is good. Okay, now I'm just looking to see whether I'm going to do these as well as leaves. I think I'm going to do that's a flower. Maybe I'll do them as petals. So I'm going to use my May green to finish these leaves off. This is a newer one, it's not in capital letters. And there's the earth green yellowish actually. The older pencils are in capitals. So I'm just going to complete the leaves really with this one. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit more yellowy, but if you don't have it, just use the other one. It's not hugely noticeable. You can always use a little bit of yellow on the tip. And just go through. It's a while since I coloured in a Johanna Basford book. It's rather nice. Well, apart from the planner. I've been doing Halloween pictures and autumn pictures. It's been good fun. But got a lot to try and squeeze in this month. But that's okay. I was going to try and do Halloween videos for you. But I've done a few and a few autumn. But the autumn ones can wait until November as well. Because it isn't just autumn in October. I guess it does really start in September, but it shouldn't really feel so autumnal. But we're nearly at the end of these little leaves. I'm going to do the sort of petals next so that I sort of know where I'm going. I'm probably going to use a pink. I think this one will be nice. This is the pink carmine. It's the pink carmine. Yeah, you'll have to believe me. And I'm going to go here and not take it all the way to the end. I'm going to finish them off with the pink carmine. No, the rose carmine. I'm getting myself confused. Now, this bit here, do I do that as a big petal or do I do it as part of this sort of flourish? Not sure. I do these while I'm thinking. I just want it to look, doesn't really matter if it doesn't, which way it's going to be. I just need to make up my mind what I'm doing really. Which I'm not being very good at. What I do is if I can't decide, I do things I do know what I want to do with and then try and think about the others while I'm doing them. So I'm probably going to do most of this flourishy bit. Like there's a petal there, a leaf there, so that bit's got to be green. So I might do it all green. So but these could have been leaves, but I decided to do them as petals or else we would have a lot of green. I thought it would be nice to have something a little bit more colourful than just one colour. Oh, and that one. So that's sort of why I chose pink. But I've not seen this page coloured yet. Well, I've seen very few pages coloured, to be honest. It's early days. I've actually only seen the Circle of Lost Property, the obviously the Wizard's Room, the free download, and that one I mentioned to you with this sort of table with flowers on. That's all I've seen. I rather like it when you haven't seen any pictures from the book. You have to do it from your imagination. You're totally not inspired by anything or anybody. So I think that's really fun. But it can be a bit daunting because you've got to come up with it all by yourself and decide what everything is if you're not entirely sure I'm going to use this pink for the ends. It's called Dark Flesh on my pencil, but it comes as a salmon. Okay, and I'm just going to finish off the tips of each petal with that. That will be. I'm looking at those and thinking I don't want those as petals. I think they're sort of too entwined with the greens. But I think I may need to use more than just those two greens, because there's quite a lot going on in different layers, particularly here. I'm waiting to hear back from my son actually. He's on a school field trip today, and he said the minibus or bus, I'm not sure, he didn't say actually, had a problem with its clutch, so it couldn't change gear, and they're on the motorway, going along very slowly, and didn't think they would get back to college in time to get home on the college bus. But he later messaged me and said he thinks he will make it. But in the meantime, I called his dad, who decided he would leave work early and be here just in case he needed picking up. So that's why he rang the bell in the rain. He wasn't due home from work this early, but he wanted to be here in case his boy needed him. The thing is, from where their college is, if he misses the bus, which leaves at 4, I think, he hasn't sent me a message to tell me either way, I think it's 4:05. If he misses that, there isn't another bus until 6 o'clock, so it's quite a long wait. Right, there we go. Now the centre of this flower I'm thinking about as well. I think I'm going to leave that for now. I'm actually going to do these two leaves in the earth green yellowish, and I may do some other earth green yellowish colouring while I've got that pencil in my hand. I'm thinking I want this little stem to be earth green yellowish too. I'm going to end up with a lot of this colour. If you've got a favourite green and this one isn't your favourite, you could always substitute it, because it doesn't matter. Now I'm just going to start colouring this darker area. Can you see Johanna's marked it dark? I'm going to layer it up a bit more. And then here I'm going to do it darker from this end and lighter towards the middle like that. We'll put in the lighter green. I'm going to repeat on this side or else I'll forget what I did. And that's key for me with symmetrical designs, is to just do the same on each side. So here I'm going to do more layers here and here. I can hear my boiler making a noise. It confuses me. I don't know what it's doing. There's no heating on. No one's using the hot water. Why is it making a noise? I have to read the manual maybe. These two. Now you see you've got this dot and this bit. I think I'm going to do that bit. And then I may leave that bit for a lighter colour. I'll try it. If it doesn't work, I can I don't know if you can hear the rain. It's really coming down on the windows now. My poor boy's getting wet waiting for the bath. But they both got Max. One's got a coat and the other's got a Max. They'll be alright. Okay, I'm going to come downwards now. I'm going to keep going with this green and only swap when I finished. So I've decided this is going to be green. You could do it pink. So all the darker areas. Not sure about this centre. I'm going to leave that while I dither. sort of fading it up. So more layers down here, and then less up here. I think with this one we'll do a bit down here as well. It sort of matches the other ones where we did that. I'm going to make that dark in there because it's going to be a bit lighter. Now I think what I'm going to do is do a dark line around here. Like that, and then that bit will be light, the lighter green. Goodness, it really is raining. I guess it's the weather we should expect here in England. But yeah, it's been sort of forecast all day and hasn't come. We had sunshine, you know, it's interesting. But anyway, my workmen left nice and early. They do finish early on a Friday anyway, and one of them had a nasty cold. He didn't know if it was from his he'd had a vaccine. He didn't know if it was that or if it was just, you know, my son's had a cold, horrible cold, so I don't know if it was that, but he did a good job though. He's the decorator. He did a really nice job with some of the paintwork, so that was good. But I don't know if I've got anyone coming in on Monday or not. I didn't know today and I had 4. There's still quite a lot of electrical work to do. The under counter lights haven't been done yet. I'm just working this out. So that goes around to there. I've got some filled in bits there which will muddle me. I'm just going to ignore them for the minute and do that bit. Yeah, so I've got under counter lights to do and some of the other electrics haven't been done. I've decided that I'm going to do those 4 as petals, but I was going to do it now, but that's what I would do if I was not filming, but I will keep with this colour and get it all done so that you don't get confused. Trying to work out where this starts. Oh, it's this. So it's this bit goes all the way up here, down to there, and then around here. I think I'll keep it darker on this stemmy bit and make those bits lighter. There we go, and I've got to try and remember what I did and do it the same on this side. Round we go. Just a little bit into those bits and then darker here. There we go. Now I'm going to swap to the lighter green, so the May green, just fill in all the spaces so that I can look at what else needs doing. So I'm going to keep this bit really light. I don't really want it to show up too much, just quite even and light. There we go. And then on all these bits I'm basically filling in the gaps, so it's quite straightforward. It's very interesting. So on this nameplate we've got a lock here, obviously. But the key, presumably, is the one on the other page next to us, which helps answer my question, is it a lock and key per double page? I think the answer is yes. There are some pages, like this page, has got more than one key on it, but mainly I would say it was one lock, one key. I mean, it's usually a door, is from what I've observed from looking through. but this one obviously isn't. It's just a lock. I mean, you could, I guess, do a wood background as if this was a keyhole on a huge door. Now I'm going to try doing this bit really light here as well. And it will tie in with that really light bit down there. So there we go. And then we'll fill in all this detail. I've got a few ideas for the stars. And we've got lots of dots. Sometimes when there's a dotty background it makes me feel like I need to do something with it, like put some pastel background or something like that, but I don't think I will. What I'm going to do is these bits here, I'm going to do the same colour as the flower middle. But what that colour is going to be is a mystery to you and me. I was thinking maybe a purple, but because this is quite a salmon orangey pink, I don't think it's going to match. So I think I'm going to do maybe just a yellow of some sort, a yellow flower middle and a yellow. I think it will just help to brighten the whole picture anyway with a bit of yellow in it. So I think it'll work, and we need to go around that. So maybe if we use the green gold for some of it, we could go around that in the green gold, and it might just work. But I am keeping it nice and simple. It's just the first picture. It's getting used to the book. And it's always a little bit daunting, I think. This page is not the first one you'd see, because the title page is, but it's one of the first pages that you will see when you open the book if someone's looking through it once you finished it. So I think sometimes people feel pressure to make it the best one, but I don't. I'm just having fun. I don't often show my books to people anyway, so that probably helps. But I just want to have fun with it. My husband always says, oh, you can just always buy another copy if you mess it up. And I know not everyone has that luxury, but it does help you to feel a little bit more relaxed about colouring. And with a new book, it can be daunting. That's why partly why I've started always colouring it once I've done a flip through. Once the book started, you've got to carry on. But it's another reason is that there are some people say they're not keen on flip through, so I figure that if I do the colouring as well, it makes it a bit more interesting. Although I didn't when I did Rita's postcards the other day, because I'm just tidying up now. I'm not doing anything special. I'm just looking at where it's a bit messy. Let's do these petals. Yeah, so as I said, I didn't do it with Rita's postcards, but I've got a postcard picked out to colour with you at some point, but I've got so much to do. So we're back to the pink carmine, and I can do these. I think even if they're not petals, it just adds a splash of colour to this part. So what I'm doing is I'm layering it on a little bit more near the centre, fading it towards the end, and we're going to use the salmon to finish it off, dark flesh. Now we've got to pick the right colour of yellow to go with this pink, and I think a nice warm yellow is going to work. It's got a slight bit of orange in the pink, so I think that will help. So I'm going to grab this one, because as I said we're going to do some green gold. I'm just going to find it. We want a yellow that's going to work with the green gold. I had thought about this one, but it's a bit too orangey, so I'll use this one. So I'm going to start with this one, which is the cadmium yellow, and do the centre of the flower. Now I'm just going to put down colour. That's it. I'm not doing anything too special, too tricky, and I'm going to colour in all of these shapes. I don't want to push down too hard. I don't want it too thick. I don't want it to stand out as being catch your eye so much that you don't see any of the rest of the picture. I actually would rather the petals stand out more. So I've just noticed I've missed a bit of green here. So I'll colour that in a minute. Now I was going to colour in that, but I don't think I will. I think I'll leave it. So this is May green. Let's just colour that bit in. There we go. Now I'm having a little look. I'm going to grab the green gold. Excuse me, I need to sharpen it. And do around the keyhole. It's a cheat really, because it's, you know, I'm not going to make gold. I'm actually just going to block colour it in green gold. Like that. And colour across there. Now I'm going to do every star. Sorry, I don't know where my voice has gone. Seems to have disappeared. These are teeny tiny stars. But this isn't going to be my only colour on these shiny bits. Now if you've got a glitter pen or a metallic pen, you may want to use that for the stars. That would look nice. I'm just going to show you how to do it in pencil. I can hear a bird shouting outside. So actually going to go over the top of it in the gold pencil, and it will add a bit of shine. On its own the gold pencil doesn't really impress me, but when it's layered on top of something I think it works quite nicely. The colour itself is a bit pale, you see, but this green gold will show through. So that's what I'm going to do. Now you've got to be brave and write your name on the nameplate. I am absolutely rubbish at doing it, so I'm wondering whether to do it or not. So I'm trying to be brave and do it on camera, but will I remember how to spell my name if I do it on camera? I'm going to use pink. Now what I've had a tip to do is to use a ruler, find the centre of the line. I'm going to do it with, line it up with the keyhole and write the middle letter of your name there in the middle, and then write it that way, and then it will line up. I don't have a middle letter in my name, so I'm just going to write there we go. I was brave and I did it. So that is the end of our flip through and tutorial. If you want your colours to look more intense, you can go over them a few more times. You can use a darker green such as the chromium green opaque to darken some areas. You can use your green gold to lighten some areas if you want to make the green look a little more defined, and I actually might do that, but I'm not going to do it on video, I don't think. I think, well, maybe this is the chromium green opaque, this is the sort of area I'm just going to intensify it a little bit. Oops, and go out of the lines. Oh, it gives me the chance to try out my new eraser. I've sent this gift. These erasers, these are Faber-Castell erasers. This one's double-ended, this one's got a handy brush on the end, and they work like a pencil. Ooh, and roll away like a pencil. That's the Faber-Castell, and these are Faber-Castell pencils. There we go. Lovely. And thank you for my lovely gift. spoil lately. I feel so lucky. Okay, here I'm just going to put a bit more there. Just help to define the colour a little bit more. And those sort of light and shade areas. And Johanna has actually drawn in some lines, so it helps us to know where she thinks there should be a bit more colour. Oops. Keep it symmetrical. So I'm just thinking, I've got distracted. I've got a cooker I can use tonight for tea. But I was actually warned to put it on for about half an hour to get rid of the sort of plasticky smell. So I may need to do that soon. Yeah, I think that's better. And actually, rather than using the green gold, I think I'm going to use the cadmium yellow in a few areas just to make it look a little more vibrant. And as you can see, I'm trying to make sure that I go from one side to the other, so I remember what I've been doing. I know it's just on the tips here. So, and up here, just on these tips. And on those bits up there. It just adds a bit of brightness, warmth and intensity, which I rather like. There we go. You may not even see any difference at all, but I can. And I am really going to leave it there now. So thank you very much for watching. Please do subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It helps other people see the video, grows the channel and helps spread the word of colouring to everybody, which is lovely. Thank you to everyone who already has. It's really appreciated. Hope you have a lovely weekend. For those of you watching when this comes out. And happy colouring. Hi everyone, I am excited today to show you my completed copy of Rooms of Wonder by Johanna Basford. Now I haven't coloured the cover. I don't normally colour covers of books at all, and it's actually a little bit grubby, which is part of the reason why I don't do that. But also I don't like the paper very much for colouring on. However, I did colour the inside cover, so let's open up and have a look. Just before I do, please click subscribe if you haven't already. Right, let's go. Okay, so the inside of the cover, as I say, I find them really difficult to colour on the paper that's there. So I used some glitter pens for this and just did lots of random colours. I have the Castle Arts glitter pens, and I was just using them up before they dry out because I've had them for quite some time, and it just felt like a sort of interesting little way to use them up, really, make some shiny keys. Now this page, I'm just trying to get it in the middle. There we go. This page was the very first one I did. I'm pretty sure that I used Staedtler Ergo Soft pencils. My hands are all covered in glitter now, and this page has got quite a lot on. It transfers across. I think I coloured this when I did my initial flip through of the book when it was new, so there'll be a video of some of this. I probably just did a little section. I can't really remember, to be honest, but that's the and there's a little bit of gold pen there, metallic, just to create some shine around this key and lock, but not the other keys. Now this one I did with Prismacolor, and I posted it on my social medias, and people were really keen to know how to do it. So later I did a tutorial using exactly the same technique, which you can also find. Actually, I think it might have been this one that I did when I did my flip through, and look, I missed a couple of stars. Huh, But this is also Ergosofts, I think. But yeah, I missed those two. What are the outside ones done in? Pencil. I don't have any pencils in here at the moment. Well, that's a big lie. I do, but not coloured pencils. I have white. It's not going to help me, is it? So that's that one. Now this double page, I did with, yes, Prismacolor very thin pencils. I picked out my favourite sort of purpley, pinky purple. I don't know what colour it was, I can't remember now. And a sort of bluey green. And just because it was small, just sort of blocked it in really. And the edge and the keys are coloured with the very thin silver pencil. Now this one was a jolly big old tutorial series. Everything there was coloured on camera so that you could follow it if you wanted to. A very daunting page, I have to say. I suspect I would have probably left it until one of the last pages had someone not asked me to do it as a tutorial, sort of forced me to get into it. And actually I you know, once I started, it didn't feel anything like as daunting. Now the way I coloured the cabinets and things I wasn't so happy with, but as I've done more of those through the book, I've got some better techniques at doing it. So I can show you those as we go, but you know, it's okay, but it could have been better. But then we can say that about every piece of work that we do. Now this page was again a jolly big tutorial series, one item each day. I think this one was my favourite, and this one, oddly, really, you know, and also I really liked how that bag came out. But as I say, each of these is available as a little video, so you can have a look and colour along with me if you want to. And as is this page. Now this page was done with colour cube cards, so there were 4 different cards that I picked out randomly from my box. So I'm working through my box in order, and I just decided which card went best with which picture, and there are videos for each of these. This one was done with pastel pencils. I'm pretty sure I used the Corals pencils. Now this was quite a daunting page for me because it's a sort of, we're looking into the corner, and it's a little bit different to anything that I've really coloured before, but I learnt a lot doing it, and I might do it a bit differently if I did it again, but that's fine. We'd probably say that about many pages, but it was a really interesting learning experience. I think it was a buddy colour as well, so I was sort of forced to do it, which is really good because you sort of get it, do it, learn from it, and next time you do one, you know, it's more fun because you know what you're doing really. This one was a tutorial as well. I coloured a little section on camera and then did the rest myself off camera. But you can find that one and learn how I did the different bits. Probably, yeah, if I hold it a bit flatter, isn't it? This one here, I tried to sort of match a little bit, but this one, not sure what pencils I used. Looking at that purple, I think that's Polychromos. This one I did with my Tombows, and I used the same sort of limited colours with the pinks, blues, purples, but obviously it's a different pencil set, so the shade's a bit different, and there's some silvers in there as well. Again, this was quite a daunting page, and just before I did it I saw an amazing version of it which slightly made it more daunting. I had considered doing some pastel in the background, soft pastels for the sort of wall, but because the silvers are so pale, I thought it would just take up that colour, so I decided to just leave it the white. And because these are so pale, I felt that anything I did in the background would actually fade it back, so I felt the white helped it pop off the page a bit better. It's a good excuse, isn't it, for not doing a background. This page was done with Castle Arts. Let me try and flatten that for you. Castle Arts pastel pencils. I tried to make the pages match as best I could. I didn't colour them at the same time, which was a little bit of a mistake because I couldn't quite work out what matched what, but I think I almost got there. I didn't do any of the sort of peachy colour that's there on this page, which I've just noticed. But anyway, again, lots of little florals. It can be quite daunting, but if you bunch them up in colours, that really helps, I find. So I found it, you know, that helped me a little. Now this double, excuse me, I'm not sure what pencils I used for this, but again I kept it really I wanted to keep it quite simple. I've seen this done so brilliantly, but for me this was just quite happy. I was quite happy just keeping it with a very limited colour scheme with no background. You know, I just felt that I wanted the colours to pop off the page, and there's so much background that it was just too daunting, so I didn't do one. However, this one I did. I used a colour cube card for this, which had these sorts of caput mortuum type colours in. I'm assuming I might have used Ergos, but I'm not entirely sure. And the oranges and things. It's quite a limited palette. I don't think the orange flowers are particularly pretty, but they go quite well with this. You know, it worked. I just had no idea how to do it, so I grabbed a card to help me. That's what they're for, isn't it? And I put lots of orange dots in the background. I have no idea why. There we go. This one was done with Staedtler pencils. I'm not sure whether it was Design Journey or Ergosofts. And I wanted to do this sort of galaxy background because it's a smaller background. I feel less daunted by it, and so I used a mix of different colours and a blending pencil. I tend to use a white on top, a good quality white like a luminance, not a Staedtler white. Sorry Staedtler, but you need something a little bit better to sort of smudge and fade it. And then the white dots help bring it all together. And yeah, so I did that and then sort of matched in other bits and pieces. I've noticed the pages of the book haven't been coloured in. I don't think they have on, only that one's been missed out. Oops, never mind. There's always something, isn't there? Okay, now this one was a page I was so looking forward to doing. I'd seen so many really pretty versions. I did this with Prisma. I'm not massively experienced in using my Prismas yet, but I was really pleased with how it came out. I kept again to a limited palette just because I love doing mushrooms this colour. So I was just like, that's what I'm going to do. This one, however, was a whole different thing. I used a colour cube card. Now there was a yellow which I used for the dots on the mushrooms, and then this sort of bronzy, I don't know, ochre I suppose, colour, which was really close, so you can't tell they're actually different colours very well. And then we had the grey stem and the blue background. I wanted to keep it as simple as I could. By colouring them all the same, it was easier. Although there's a repeating pattern through, I felt that I wouldn't have been able to cope with doing each type of mushroom a different colour. It would have just been too difficult for me. So I just kept it really straightforward. Now this page has all sorts of bits and pieces. I'm just looking. I'm pretty sure I've used polychromos, I'm thinking. Yeah, I really... you know, enjoyed doing every little detail actually on this page, and I had considered doing a background, but because there's so much white, again, like in the pages of the book, in the centres of the bottles and the glass and things, and here, I thought if I put a pastel on there, it would just be really difficult to keep away from those bits. So I decided to, in the end, to just leave it white, and it just sort of pops off the page, I think. Now this one I'm pretty sure, yes, I did with my Pablo pencils. I kept to a very limited palette because I felt quite daunted by this page, but as soon as I started I was fine. I'm like that with a lot of them. Once I decided that if we keep all the sea creatures in pinks and all the sort of corally bits in purple, all the rocks the same colour, the water the same, you know. I did the water first, I think, and then that got a big chunk done, and then I was happy with, you know, all the details were easier. And a bit of white pen to sort of show the reflection on the glass. Now this one, I know some people really find these, they don't like the repeating pattern, but actually if you don't like doing the same thing over and over, you could do each one differently. But for me, I was in the mood on a day when I just didn't want to think about colour, so I grabbed what I think were Staedtler pencils and just, you know, chilled and coloured, and didn't really worry too much about shading and things like that, and kept it really simple. Now this one, I decided to use a limited palette and do the balloons all the same colour, and now I'm thinking it's a bit boring. I've seen some with really pretty looking different colour balloons, and I think I probably should have done some sort of rainbow colours or something like that with the balloons, but you know, that's fair. The background is a soft pastel with a cloud stencil, just to put a little bit in there, and a little bit of green across the bottom because you know, we wouldn't have clouds right down there. So that was that one. Now this one I did quite early on. This is Stedler. No, it's Polychromos. Sorry. And I just picked out the flowers that look similar and kept them in similar colours. And yellow backgrounds I find quite difficult because there's lots of white in there that I've missed. I can see it now, and I struggle to see it. I think if I put on my magnifying glasses when I did it, I might have found, I didn't have them when I did it, but I might have found them better. But I think it's come out very bold, and I'm really happy with it. Now this one I didn't, now colouring office things, it's not really much fun for me, to be honest. So to make this more interesting here, I picked a colour cube card for each one. A different one, obviously. So this one we've obviously got reds and greens and blues, and this one was just sort of pinks, and then this one was just greys. So this one, it looks like the lights are off and it's sort of nighttime. I think it's quite fun, and different colours through. Whereas this one, I just picked a random bunch of colours and just kept each item the same. It was a little bit easier to pick out which items were the same than on the mushroom page because they're so different, if that makes sense. So these two, for example, are the same as each other. It's quite easy to see them. Now this was probably my favourite double page in the whole book. I love colouring fruit. I don't know why. So this one was a video. Well, actually I made it into 3 videos. So there's one video showing you a narrated version of how to do all the fruits in here. Then there's a one without talking where I complete it. And then there's a sped up version of that one as well. So you can have a look at what suits you. This one, there isn't a video. I just did this myself. I think these cherries look a very strange colour. I remember putting down a colour and going, that's wrong, and then putting 2 or 3 on top, and I just couldn't bring it back. It just didn't work, but never mind. But these are both done with Polychromos. Now this page was the very first tutorial series I did from this book. Someone asked me to do it, so I did. And then I made this page sort of match, but you can see there's metallic pen on the bottles. But I sort of matched it in. I think they're Polychromos. Not sure, not entirely sure. I had some different ideas of doing the bottles with a galaxy background, but when I came round to doing it, I decided that I would use the metallics instead and just make it, because these bottles are all the same. So I sort of thought I would do something similar to sort of tie it in a bit. Now this one was done with Stedler. I'm thinking probably Design Journey, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I like colouring sort of foodie things. So but I think these could have been a bit better, but you know, that's that. But yeah, that's. And also the flags and the napkins are in blue as well as the background. They don't stand out. They should have been in pink or something. It isn't quite the best, but you know. Did this one quite recently. I didn't try and match it with this one. I didn't think it was necessarily supposed to be part of the same shop. Maybe it was. I don't know. So I just kept some of the colours the same to sort of tie it all together a bit. Lots of pinks and purples, as you can see. I'm sort of thinking that's the colour I would want my sweets and cakes to be. No. Now this one, I don't know, remember doing this one. I did it very early on. I'm looking at the pencils. I've got no idea what they were. I did do some sparkly stars. That was it. That was good. Now this one was done with Castle Arts pastel pencils, and there is a video for each section, so the whole thing you can colour along with me if you want to. So sort of move around, I think. I can't quite remember. This one I did just recently as well. This was the one that daunted me the most. I really was like, what do I do with this page? So I used Prisma to make my gold and silver. I didn't do all of the page. So in between here, there are little sections which you're supposed to colour in. I thought about this long and hard. I slept on it as well, came back to it and decided no, I was going to leave it, because I was thinking, because it's metallic, I need to do a black background to make it stand out from the page. I couldn't be, that's so daunting to do so much black. My black Posca's nearly run out anyway. And I thought, I don't want to just do those sections that are drawn in black. I would have to do the whole thing. And I just was like, nope, I'm just going to leave it. So that was that. I just left it. My son did say that lock, it needs to be black in there. I was like, yeah, maybe, because it goes nowhere. There's no lock. It's just the air behind it. I was like, good point. But anyway, I can see a bit I missed there. There's always a bit, isn't there? But yeah, so for me, doing it like that simplified it somehow. But right, this is a series which is currently running. The first one's gone out today, day of recording, but there's probably a few would have gone out by the time this video gets out to you. So each one is a video, so you can follow along with that. So you get a sneaky peek today of what that looks like. And the members of the channel have got them all already, actually, in a compilation video. This one, and that's done in polychromos. This is done in polychromos. I wanted to keep this really simple colour-wise. I did some gold on the edges. I'm not too keen on how that gold came out, to be honest, but yeah, that's that. And this sort of kept all the flowers similar colours. And I just didn't know what to do with the dressing table, so I used cream and light yellow glaze, I think, which is something I never normally use, and it was quite interesting to use. It's quite pale. I didn't want it to jump off the page, and I wanted the flowers to stand out because I like flowers. So yeah, but it was an interesting experiment. Not sure I'd choose that colour again. Maybe I would have used a sky blue perhaps next time, but you know, you've got to try. Now these pages I also enjoyed a lot. This page is a set of videos, so each of these items, I think that's a little group there, is a video, so you can follow along. I think Castle Arts I used for this, and also for here. So what I started to learn doing this is how to put a bit of shadow around each little box in the wardrobe to make it look more shady in the corners, and it also helps to bring the items forward. You could probably emphasize it even more than I did, but I was just learning and I was really happy with how that came out anyway. Yeah, and this dress here, I made it into a wedding dress with like white and sort of sparkles. I really enjoyed that one, so much fun. Now this one I used Staedtler pencils. Again, just a very chilled, relaxed exercise in repetitive colouring. Some people not happy with that, but I just, you know, some days that's what I want to do. Or I might just sit down with a mandala or something and just do it really plainly. I've just noticed I've got a really dirty arm. I've been gardening, so I probably picked it up off somewhere. This one again was a series. I used a colour cube card and did it, I think it was 3 parts, might have been 4 parts with the card. Now doing a grey wood was really out of my comfort zone, but that was what the card gave me, so you know, it sort of stretched me. And also these green things in the bottle, but of course it's green tea in the jars, I mean. So this was also a series. I think it came out at Christmas, and I tried to make them slightly Christmassy looking. I'm not sure how well I did with that, but they're all sort of bright and cheerful anyway. I just thought with the nuts and the satsumas, those are sort of Christmassy things. that I associate with Christmas anyway, so that's why I sort of did it then. Also, I've completed 2 copies of Johanna's Christmas, so I didn't have so many Christmassy pictures to do. This one was quite an early one. This is done with Prismacolor, and I wanted to make it look like this was wallpaper, and so we're inside and that's the outside. That's how I wanted to make it look. So but whether it worked or not, it doesn't really matter. I was quite pleased with it anyway. And we have our shower. Now there's a bit of glitter in the water. I can't even see it myself. I don't know if it's showing out, but I used Prismacolor there as well. And these bright leaves I really like, but I think I should have done a few more different colour leaves because it's maybe a bit odd, but you know, it's now this one I really liked. I had a lot of fun doing this one. Now I just kept that bright rainbow theme throughout. I did cheat and copy, see I've put white in between the lines of the rainbow. I saw quite a few people had done that on their versions, Emily Illustrator for one, and I copied it, but I didn't do it on these. And I just kept those rainbow colours through all these items as well. I just thought it would keep it really bright, and I just used, and it also helped me to choose colour. I thought, well, if I use those 7 colours everywhere, apart obviously I used wood colour for this, and this one I learnt a lot more about getting the shadow behind here to make the shelves look like they were set back, you know, putting really dark around the edge and then a bit less in the middle, but still making it darker than the shelves that are closer to you. So I was sort of learning about that as I was colouring, or sort of teaching myself, I guess, and thinking about other versions I'd seen. And what I do is I look at someone's picture and I think, what is it that makes that good? What have they done? Let's analyse that little bit. What is it that they've done there? And then I try and replicate that in my own work. This one I was a little bit disappointed in, I have to say. This colour in the background I think is horrible. And I don't know whether behind here really should have been sea coloured. I just no. And I noticed a friend of mine did this page yesterday, and she said, oh, I've only got the things on the plate left, those things. I said, oh, I'd completely forgotten to colour those on my version, which I remembered when she mentioned them because I didn't know what they were. And so I coloured them like buns, you know, cinnamon buns or something. We didn't know what they were, but we assumed they were some sort of food because I was colouring this page, so it was just over the page. So this page is a video. One of them is done, and obviously they're all the same, so that's a video. This page I almost did as one, and then I just wanted to get lost in it myself, so I just did it on my own. And there's a lot of repetition in here. I did all these all differently, except the chocolate sticks, which I did all the same, strangely. Anyway, and then down at the bottom here, because we've got the same jars, the same bottles, all that sort of thing, then I made them the same colours. But I'd give you my little trick. So this jar here, Madder probably, and then when I coloured all those, I took that colour and did a few of the sweets. And then when I coloured those, I took that colour and did a few of the sweets. And that, because I find doing things like that really difficult. I don't know why. I'd rather just colour them all the same colour. So I did that, and then we got a bit of a mix in each jar. So that was that one. And that was coloured with polychromos. This was coloured with Prismas. It's very rare for me to do a video in Prismas. I really like how transparent they look. They almost looks, this colour on this tier, I don't know what colour it is, it almost looks metallic. It's one of the sort of purpley, violet-y colours. I don't know how I achieve that, but I like it. Maybe it's just a feature of the pencil. Now this page, again, had no idea what to do with it. So I used a couple of, this page here, the outside is done with a Derwent red metallic pencil. I bought one to try them out, and I thought I'll just try out on this page, So that's what I did. The inside I think is done with a Castle Arts metallic, as is this whole page is done with Castle Arts metallic pencils. I tried to use them to, obviously they're shiny in their own right a little bit, but I also tried to create an artificial look of shine by putting some darker and lighter areas in. So it was quite a challenge. And this page I also use metallic pencils. These are 4 videos. Can't remember what pen, these are Castles. Yeah, Castle Arts pencils. So there are 4 videos for these. This page is a video just for this little bit because I was testing my Brute Funa set of 12 metallic pencils and I tried them out here. I really liked all the colours. I preferred them to the colours of the castles. And then I finished it off with the same set of pencils. But I liked them so much that I got the 50 set for my birthday, and they're completely different. It's quite funny. I have a review of the 50 set somewhere. Now this page is also done with metallic pencils, I think. Yeah, I used the Castle pencils again. So it was just, I wasn't sure what to do with this. So, you know, I used the metallics. This page was quite daunting to me with all these different items, you know, I was, but actually once I got round to it, it was fine. It was just a matter of doing one at a time and methodically working through the page. I can't identify what pencil set I used. There's quite a big variety of colours. I think it must be polychromos, not Staedtler. Although there's only a couple of, I think it's Staedtler. There's not too many different violets. So. Now we have our cluttered kitchen. Now the border was fine. Florals, love them, good fun. The centre, I was like, what am I going to do with that muddly mess? I can't, if that was my kitchen, I would go bananas. So I thought if I coloured all the china in the same colour and all the bottles in the same colour, then I would be able to cope with the muddly mess better. So that's what I did. Now this is a series that I've recorded as well, so each one of these a video. It finished yesterday on day of recording this, so it's recently finished, so that's available, as I say, one video for each picture. This, I'm trying to think of what pencils, I don't know. Did I use Arteza for this one? Not sure, not sure. This is also quite a recent video. Again, I think this is Arteza pencils. I'm not so good at using them, so it's not quite so good. But anyway, it just shows you how to colour each thing because it's quite a repetitive mandala, of course. This was a set of videos as well, you know, one each day. I've done so many from this book because the small pictures are, you know, really nice to do for a short video. So there are those. You can, and I didn't do them in order because I did them around Halloween. So I did the sort of witch's hat and the cauldron for Halloween, and I think, and then some of the ones later. But that's that one. Now this page again was very daunting to me. What on earth do you do with letters? How do you colour them? So I firstly thought, well, I could colour the background and then leave the letters white. But I decided that the letters would look prettier if I coloured them. So I just chose lots of different colours to colour them in and did it that way. I think I used Castle Arts for this, looking at it, but I'm not entirely sure. This one is a video. There were several parts for the sort of top bit and the different things. I didn't colour all of it on camera, I don't think, but I don't really remember. But that one again, what colour do you colour everything? So I did the parcels, I seem to remember, in green gold, and the letters, you know, you can see they're in blue, just to bring it together really. Yeah, I did this one really early on. I'm pretty sure it's polychromos. It's a bit samey with the green, but I tried to do a sort of bokeh style background Not sure how well it worked in the end, because I used a template to draw the circles and I think they were a bit too round. I'm sounding ridiculous. They were a bit too staged, you know. They should have been a bit more rough, maybe. But anyway, I tried and I learned something. It's the main thing. This page I found very difficult. This was a buddy colour with someone and I couldn't remember who it was that asked me to do the buddy colour, and I haven't been in touch with them to show them my picture or to ask them if they've done theirs or anything, and I feel terrible because I looked through my contacts, because I contact people through different things, different social media, and I can't remember, so I'm really sorry. But this one I was just starting to learn about how to make it a bit darker in the corners of the bits of the cabinet. But I did all the gemstones in the same colour and then went over them with a glitter glaze just for fun, really. This one, it's very bright. I think these are Arteza because it's so bright, the colours on that page. Yeah, I was a little bit daunted by the page, but as soon as I coloured the shelves, which I did all the shelving first, and then I decided to do all the little boxes the same colour, and then it sort of just started colouring itself, really. That's how I get things done so quickly, they just colour themselves. Now this page was again a series of videos. I used colour cube cards, and I picked a card and then picked the most relevant picture to that card and just went through and coloured them all. So you can find those on my channel. This one wasn't though, this was just a fun little buddy colour that I did. I'm pretty sure that's Staedtler pencils. I didn't really do much shading, I just had fun with it really, coloured it in. This was one of my first pictures I did with my Tombow pencils. And I used a lot of the really pale shades, and then I used some really dark shades here, and I've got no idea why I did that, and I feel that I spoilt it really by making those bits dark and nothing else. But again, I learned something. Now this page, I've never coloured musical instruments. I was a bit scared for a while, and then I did all the gold ones, and then I was happy, and it was quite easy to do the rest really, the sort of wooden ones, but I kept them a very limited palette, so all the wooden ones have got the same colour, that sort of thing, which just helped me to find it, to make it easier really. This one I did quite early on. I used to have a phone like this, although it was black, and it just reminded me of that, and it was just, you know, I mean, it's really teeny weeny details, you can't get a lot of shading in there, but in a way that means it can be quite a relaxing piece where you don't have to really think, you just have to block the colour in. Whereas this one I spent quite a long time. Again, I did it quite early. It really appealed to me as a page. It's got some colour transfer from the other side. But I like geraniums. No one else in my house does, but I do. So it's good to do that. And mixing up these warm browns for the background. I really liked doing that. I don't know why. But I think I used Staedtler. Just looking, not sure. And this one is the key that I did for the video that I told you about, that, you know, people wanted to know how to do the gold, so this was the key I did for that. And then I also coloured in the top hat and the journal and the unicorn, and this was a video actually where I was testing out some pencils. I think it was my new Staedtler Design Journey pencils, maybe the Super Softs, and I just tested them out in a little tiny bit there, and yeah, I tested them out there as well. And then lastly, I continued my glittery key theme on the last page. So there is the book, all completed. So that's really exciting. So I'm all ready for Johanna's new book. So where is it? I've got a few other books that I want to complete now before her new one comes out, so that's fun. And I'm going to be doing, I know I've done lots of videos from here, but I've got some plans to do some more videos from Ivy and possibly World of Flowers as well. So there will be more Johanna Basford videos, but also ones from other books as well. I've got some Rita Berman plans as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a super day. Please give this a little like if you enjoyed it, and also consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much and happy colouring.